Hello, hello.
Dre, is that you?
That's me, Brian. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for piping in.
Yeah, let me put this on my Discord and we'll get started.
Okay? Yeah, take your time.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Anthony.
I try to change my name.
Hmm.
How's everybody doing today?
Doing great. Certainly glad to see a little bit of structure return in the markets today.
Yeah, right? It's been crazy.
My gosh. And I tell everybody in the room, I'm the worst trader when the market goes straight up like this. I mean,
Because you just
it,
sit there and you're like, how far can this go?
well, yeah, I don't take my trade setups, which the signals are firing regardless. But yeah, I definitely underperform my setups whenever the
Hmm.
market goes straight up. Yeah, you want to bet on me when the markets they look like the sun's not going to come up tomorrow. That's usually those those are my best days.
Hmm.
uh,
I got a lot of good stuff, Brian. I'm going to once this is all once we're through all of this, I'll get you updated because I've added a lot of functionality and I've really made things overall better from probably the version you have right now. Um,
okay.
from the AI to every component. So
Well, yeah, I always like seeing what you and Dre have to offer. You guys are really smart. I have a really smart. I don't call it to him to his face. Let me see if Richard's
We were
he's
being super sneaky about it.
Richard is up right now, but he is he's my programmer, so he translates all of my goofy ideas into the NinjaTrader code. So, but yeah, um, what time do we have right now? It's actually 11 o'clock. So, are Dre, are you and Anthony ready?
ready as I will
Yeah,
be.
All
yeah,
right, good
good
deal.
whenever.
Hey, everybody that came in, this isn't, I'm not running this by any way, shape, or form. This is myself, Anthony, and Dre just collaborating. I just happen to have a Zoom, so I get tapped to host this thing right here. But I do want to thank you for joining in. It's just three guys talking about their products, and the thing I want to harp on going through here is just the interlocking compatibility between all three of our products. We don't compete with each other in anything. All the products help one another out. So, I just speak for myself saying that, I've got a thriving, really smart Predator X community inside of our A plus Discord. And then myself and a few others just wear out LogikLabs on back testing. I mean, we're constantly keeping that stuff going. So um, I'll let each of the participants here, Anthony and Richard. Anthony's going to go first, and each of us can just give a little basic intro whenever it gets to be our turn. So Anthony, you're up. I'm going to stop sharing, and then you can share whatever that you want to look at. But before we go, let me get this out of the way. To cover us all, hey, disclaimer, we are not financial advisors, and nothing we do or say in here is a recommendation to uh, sell or buy any type of instrument, security that we may be watching, looking at, or analyzing. So just keep that in mind. And Anthony, it is all yours. Let me stop sharing.
Sure. I'm
All
gonna
right.
try to take over on the sharing.
Okay.
Um, let's see. It's background over the shoulder. So I'm gonna have to change things a little bit as I go through all this because I want to share my screen. Oh, I can share my screen. Perfect. So everybody let me know if you can't really see this well. Um, because I have an ultra wide monitor and sometimes it skews when I do this stuff. So you guys able to see this pretty well?
Yep.
Or Brian? Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So what I'm going to go over is I have a product I've created, and it goes lockstep with what Brian has and Dre has. It basically is a piece that goes right in the middle. And about a couple of years, over the past couple of years, I created a product that I called LogikAI. And what LogikAI does is it learns what the market looks like for winning trades and for losing trades, right? A winning trade is anything with profit, and a losing trade is anything that you lose money on. And so what this product does is it will categorize winning trades from losing trades and what the market looks like during winning trades and what the market looks like during losing trades. And so the way that it does that is it takes a ton of different indicators, not conventional indicators, but it normalizes them and it sets them up so machine learning can operate on them. And at every time a trade is taken, a snapshot of all these indicators, and there's a couple of hundred of them, and across different time frames, it takes a snapshot of those indicators.
How you doing?
And
Picking up for Deanna?
it goes ahead and can you mute everybody?
You too?
Hey,
Brian, can you mute everyone?
yeah, I'm trying to. Let me see here. I've got to do everybody individually. Yeah, I'm trying to catch them as they come in. There's a
That's fine.
function to mute everybody, but it mutes you too. So.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So the whole, again, concept is separating winning trades from losing trades, snapshots of the market. So hundreds of different indicators we call them features across different time frames. And all of those different features are normalized for machine learning. And every time you have a winning trade or losing trade, you take a snapshot of all of those different features, okay? And the idea is you want to be able to separate what the market looks like for winning versus losing, and gain a probability that a future trade, when you take another snapshot, is going to be a winner versus a loser, okay? In order to utilize this concept, and I have a couple of slides here that I'll just put up, this one in particular. But in order to utilize those features, you really need this product. You really need the ability to have trades fed into it. So I created this product called LogikLab, okay? And LogikLab is a trade simulator that will take signals from any indicator that plots an arrow or just has a plot for an entry or whatever. And it allows you to utilize the NinjaTrader chart ATM, chart trader ATM functionality to simulate these trades. So right there, we've been able to, now we have trades that can be shoved into LogikAI, so you can go ahead and utilize this probability that a trade's going to be a winner or loss moving forward, okay? I've recently added the ability to take those signals and run them through the optimizer, so you can optimize the various exit criteria that you have in order to maximize profit on whatever your entry signal is. So this is just a visual. Again, I'm bouncing around a little bit here, but this is just a visual of what LogikAI does. It tries to separate winning trades from losing trades, and the idea is that the output of this, based on all sorts of different indicators, which it looks like I got rid of the slide for that, but all sorts of different indicators that are diverse across all different types of market measurements are utilized in order to try to do this, okay? So I always find the best way to explain something is with an example. So here, what I have is, I just have the Ninjarenko that Brian uses for his signals, and I have one of Brian's signals here set up, right? Now I just grabbed some random settings for this, so none of this is indicative of anything behind what Brian's stuff can do or will do. He's got all the settings for that stuff that's outside of my wheelhouse. So for this, I go back, I think I have 15 days. Yeah, I have 15 days here loaded, not that much data, and I have LogikAI set up on the chart currently, okay? And here, one of the features of LogikAI, or one of the many that it can do for reporting, is it can create reports based on the trade simulations that you do, before what I call the baseline before any AI is involved, and then afterwards, so you can have a comparison between before AI and after AI. I say AI again, machine learning, and the ability to separate winning from losing trades. So I have these report components set up. I have a report name for the Jiggle, which is one of the signals that we're just going to look at here. And one of the things AI is going to do with this LogikAI component is going to do is it's going to tell the system not to take certain trades that are below a certain probability that it will be a winner. So since we're going to be having a different number of trades, commission is very important to factor into the equation. All right. I have settings here for entry and exit, slippage, fill target on touch, and then I recently added intrabar execution. And for that, you need intrabar execution in order to determine if you hit the target or the stop, which one you hit first if you hit both on the same bar. Basically, you need to look inside of the bar, okay? So these are all just basic things up here. And as we go through, I'm basically, the important thing here is we're gonna skip any trades once we apply this AI component that has a probability of win being less than 75, right? And I separate long and short because the market tends to look pretty different when you look at long trades versus short trades from a feature set standpoint, right? And the rest of these things, this is how we're capturing signals. Brian's signals are an arrow. We're gonna capture the signals for the optimizer, so I can show you how that gets fed into the optimizer. And then these are just some trade parameters here. I have a stop, 75 ticks. I'm going to do 2 contracts. One of them is at a target of 22. The second one is at a target of 40. And then I'm not going to use break even or trail. And then I have my start and stop time. Okay. Basic settings when you are trading a signal to get executed to be managed by the chart trader or Dre's component, which is what all this feeds into. Okay. So now, once we have this, right, I have this set up here on a chart. I'm going to run just a simple back test.
Okay.
And then once the back test completes here, you get a report that pops up. It's an HTML report, and it goes through and it captures all the settings, net profit, number of trades, win rate, profit factor, and then all the settings here. You can go down and you can get a nice equity curve. You get some more statistics behind all the different trades here. So this will, shows you, oh, the system doesn't do very well, at least with my settings here, between 9:30 and 10:30. And this is like typical hour or half hour bins for profitability. And there's a whole breakdown of each bin, all the details, all the statistics behind all the trades, top winners, top losers, etc., right? A lot of stuff, not super interesting. Now that we have all of these trades and you get a nice little visual on the chart of the trades and where your targets are and things of that nature, we are going to train this AI model, and it's going to shove all of those trades into the LogikAI module. And right now it is taking snapshots of winning trades and losing trades and applying various machine learning techniques to try to figure out how to separate winning trades from losing trades to the best of the ability. And then it's going to apply a threshold of 75%, that you're only going to take a trade if the probability of win is 75% or higher. Okay. So when it finishes, it says training complete, has your long accuracy and a short accuracy. This is fairly good. These numbers indicate how well the AI module is at understanding what a winning trade versus a losing trade looks like. Okay. And you can see here, we already have some trades that got skipped, that were taken in the past. This one is still taken, et cetera, et cetera. And it's not perfect, so you still have a losing trade that took place here. You're not going to get rid of everything. But what we'll notice, and of course I closed the one folder I needed, but if the comparison report, which is the most interesting thing, is what will show you the difference between the system before this AI component was introduced and then afterwards. And so some key metrics, right? You see here, the baseline was 239 trades. The LogikAI version was 92 trades. So we took 147 trades less. This is over a 15-day period. A lot of trades. We're on a tick-based chart, so I kind of expect that. And this delta here is probably the most interesting column. The baseline was 64% winning trades. LogikAI version bumped it up to 82%. You can see it's an 18% increase. Profit factor, 1.67% increase. Before AI, in this particular setup, we were losing 6,000. Now after AI, we are gaining 13,000. So we've made a positive of 19,000. And you can see the commissions, because this is a big factor in everything, which the net profit has the commissions fed into it as well, because you're taking less trades. Commissions went down by $1,300. So you paid the broker $1,300 less, and that's obvious because you're taking 147 less trades, right? It gives you all these components here. Also match drawdown significantly less, right? And then here is your equity curve overlay, and you can see the machine learning version just kills it. Just keeps going up. You have your little drawdowns here, but overall does great. Then it gives you some delta highlights. These are all, again, more statistics behind everything before and after, all right? Now, another important thing, another feature I'll say for all of this, and I'm not gonna go into the nitty-gritty details of it, is if you have a probability that's really high, say 95%, maybe instead of trading 2 contracts like I had in this example, you want to trade 3 or 4. So you want to use it as a position sizing component. So if you know that based on what winning trades look like compared to your current trade you're about to get into, if you know that this is a really high chance of being a winning trade, you're going to go and invest more money into it. And if you do that, then that really makes this thing take off. Okay. Maybe I'll do one quick example. I want to just leave time for Dre as well, but I will simplify this a bit, and I'm going to make the total quantity 1. I'll zero these guys out, and I'll say that if your quantity is above 95%, we're going to do 2 contracts instead. Okay. And if I get everything right, we'll be able to pump that up. While this is going on here, the indicator is loading everything. The other component of all of this is if you wanted to go and find out what's a good target and stop and what's a good way to manage my position historically and be able to optimize this, that's what the analyzer, strategy analyzer component is, or strategy optimizer component. So this is something I added new just recently, and it's based on my strategy framework that I've developed for the past 10 years or so. And there's all these settings here where you can go through and set everything up. You can set this to be optimizing, et cetera, et cetera. But the key here is these inputs all mimic what LogikAI, LogikLabs indicator inputs are. So you can, whatever you determine here to be good targets and stops for your particular system, you can go ahead and utilize them moving forward for your training, and then that stuff can be utilized for how you're managing the position, which is Dre's component of all of this for the execution side. And the way that all works is once you run a back test here, the signals are captured and you're able to access them here. So this is symbol name, this is a simple timestamp, and then this is just the name of the report that we gave it a label to. And you can run a back test in here, and you can run the optimization in here. And I'm not going to go through all that stuff now, because that's just the standard NT function that you can learn about from NinjaTrader. But the ability to take these signals and run them through an optimization process to find what targets and stops might be best for the type of signal you have is something that I just added, and I think it's an important component to how you manage the position once you're in it. Brian, I think that'll be something that you're going to want to jump on with your stuff as well. I think it'll be really helpful.
Yep. Sure.
So now, once again, I have this set, same as before, except now I have it increasing the quantity. Okay. So I'll go ahead and I'll train this again, and you can see down here, the blue color is probably not the best choice. I'll change that, but this tells you what the signal name will be for the optimizer. And this is my old comparison, and we'll just save that. Now that I'm boosting the quantity for the new setup for position sizing, we'll see what that looks like as soon as this finishes. But the idea with all of this, once you do, as we're waiting for this to train, once you have a model that you want to utilize with these signals, right? question is, okay, well now how do I use that for real-time trading? How do I actually implement that? And the way that you do that is I have an indicator that will plot the probability of win for long and short signals. And now it's going to show the probability of win for long and short signals for all the time on the bottom of the chart. But whenever a signal takes place, you can go and look at that and determine whether or not you want to take that trade. And that kind of segues right into what Dre has. Is Dre worked on, he added some functionality to his software to go ahead and read that indicator. I don't know what I did here, but read that in those indicator plots, and you can set those thresholds like I did for my initial report to be able to determine whether or not a trade is automatically executed or not. So I think while this is going, I might actually, and I can put these slides up later, but I don't know what's taking so long here, but if Dre, if you want to start talking about that stuff while I just get myself situated over here with this other test. I'm not sure what I did, but we're just sitting here waiting for this to finish operating. So if you want to take over from here and go through that, and then we can come back to this if necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to show kind of how to set everything up with the Predator as well.
Okay, and just one quick thing before Dre does that. I know Dre has years of development in his tool, and therefore it has different ways of capturing signals. In addition to arrows, I think just recently bar color was added, or background color, and all these other features. Those are things that I am going to work with Dre to get lockstep in for the various methods that he has for managing trades and maintaining trades and things of that nature. So the idea is, and Dre, correct me if I'm wrong, but the idea here is that I want to be able to simulate things historically with similar or the same way that Dre is managing them in real time. This way, this tool can feed right into your whole workspace of creating a strategy, and then TradeSaver's Predator going ahead and taking trades and managing those trades, and the two tools being able to work in sync, so you can develop the exits that Dre has available to be able to use. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, if I could jump in for just a second, Dre, before you get started. Hey, Anthony, there's a question in the chat box. If you could answer that.
Yep.
I think it's from Dell.
Yep. This is good. So NinjaTrader's overfitting is always a problem whenever you do any of these things, right? So the optimizer, for sure, you can overfit very easily. And for example, if you try to, if you're searching for the right target to use, and you're going to use a value of, let's say 5 ticks to 50 ticks, and you're going to do 1 tick increments. The way that I avoid overfitting and something like that is, sure, I'll go from 5 to 50, but I will not use 1 tick increments, because then you're just splitting hairs. I would do a larger increment just to try to not fall on some hot point that always gives you the best result. That's just fictitious for fitting historical trades with an optimization process. This machine learning component that I'm talking about here, I have worked to make it, and this is like over the past year, especially in running this in real time and seeing that the actual signals and the actual probabilities are fluid, is I have a very diverse set of features and indicators that get fed into this. Things like, I must have closed this. I'll try to find it in a minute, but things like I have 1 bin of indicators for structure, another one for volume, another one for looking at market profiles. I have 4 different groupings of indicators that when you train the model itself is diverse, because I only allow allow one indicator from one particular group, and then for the other three groups, I allow 3 indicators for each one, and I rank based on, I add noise to all of the signals, so I simulate differences in future market data that you cannot really predict. So I've put things in this AI module to diversify the feature space that's used for the machine learning and noisied up the data. And in doing so, I've made it that when you are operating on unseen data, that it behaves in a very predictable, structured manner. And that predictable, structured manner is the data that it's trained on and the data that it's tested on they're different, but they yield very similar results with plus or minus some sort of variance, which is expected. But that's how I avoid the curve fitting or the overfitting as you have here.
And also, just to add on to that, Anthony, that also it relies on the person using that tool that you have and the setups that you have. If you're not intimate with the setup that you have, if it's not pulsing through your veins, you are going to fall for anything that you see because you don't know. I can tell you from just my own personal experience, all of my setups were captured for the better part of 3 years by hand.
Yeah.
So for me, using an optimizer like this, I already know where the sweet spots are throughout.
You know where you're going to look, yeah. And you can't, and that's a really good point. You can't just throw the kitchen sink at it and expect it to. You're going to find the absolute best result for your historical data set, but that is not reality. And as soon as you go live and you're getting killed, that's going to be why. It's going to be because of the way that it was optimized and tuned.
Yeah, so it's statistical distribution. I've used multiple data sets, for our own, all of our own setups, going back over 2 years in 90-day windows, because, you have very volatile periods, you have very complacent periods, and then you have normal periods, and you have to know how your setups perform in those environments. And if you don't, you're not specializing. And I'm telling you, if you're not specializing, this is a hobby for you. So that's just as quick, as easy as I can put it. So
yep, completely right, 100%. By the way, the reason why it didn't work before is because I messed up my inputs by getting rid of the second target. I actually didn't have a target for the first one, and it just stayed in one trade, and it got stuck the whole time. So it's also, to your point, details. The devil's in the details. You got to make sure you do everything right. So I'm just going to run this again over here. And as soon as I can get my zoom back over here, I can pop this back up. Forgive me, I'm not the best presenter.
Hey, don't. This is informal, so nobody's nobody's grading you on your presentation, so not an issue.
I'm grading me.
It's the content that matters. So
yep. All right. So, Dre, do you want to take over from here while I'm just trying to get this back up over here, and then if we need be, we can hop back.
Yeah. When I close up, I'll see if you're ready, and then we'll see if you have anything else left, Anthony.
Yep, perfect.
Sure. Yeah, I was just going to run basically a similar example to what you were showing anyways. So
sure.
Just going to get it all set up and then show how to run it with the Predator as well. Let me share my screen here. All right. Can all see that?
Good to go.
Yep.
So like Anthony was saying, his tool is more of the back testing and getting data, while the Predator is more of the actual order entry tool, running it live and making sure we can take all of those signals while the market's running. So I know I've had quite a few guys reach out to me wanting to know how to set this up and implement that quantity multiplier as well. So I'm going to basically just run through an example, setting up the pure logic and then setting up the predator X with it. So we'll set up the pure logic. So that's just in the indicators. And Anthony, correct me if I'm doing anything wrong. I'm still kind of new to this.
Nope, you're good.
But,
Yep.
Yeah, so we just load this up, and this is where we can kind of define all the settings. So if you want that quantity boost, I believe it's just this one, and you have to do it for the longs and the shorts. And then, yeah, so we're using the A+ setup, so that's an arrow. And then your stop and profit target. So again, this could be anything you guys want, but I'm just going to do 50 ticks, stop and profit. I think keep it simple for this example. And yeah, everything else is kind of wherever you want to trade, the days you want to trade. But I think it's fairly straightforward to set up. So we'll just load that on the chart.
And just one important note, setting the quantities and everything here it will not affect the real-time execution from Predator. Predator, you can set your own thresholds. This is just for the back test to give you an idea of how it's working.
Yeah, the Predator, we're basically also trying to match up with the back testing. It's two separate systems, but we can do very similar things as well. But let's just run a back test here, just get this going. And I think we got everything right away. So this is kind of the report you get. So we have our profit, the loss, basically all that same information Anthony just talked about. And then we just run or train the AI.
Right, and that's the part I did not. Well, after you train it, you save it, and that's the part I didn't get into. It was perfect.
And there we go. So this is our new report. So the yellow line over here, that's the new, our new signals with the AI. And then the blue ones where you can see the original. So you can see it does improve it quite a bit. Yeah, your net profit basically doubles. We have way less trades with the LogikAI, higher win rate, higher profit factor, all that good stuff. Yeah, I think Anthony will probably go into this a little bit more once he gets that sorted out. But for now, I'm just going to show how to save it. So we first have to save it. And then I do have quite a few here. So we'll do webinar 36.6, just so we know which one we're talking about. And then once it's saved, then we have to load the probability. So let's go back into the indicators. And Anthony, is it okay to keep this one up, the LogikLabAI, or do I take that one away?
You can, you don't have to. You could take it away. Now, so the LogikLabAI is to go and do all the simulations to build this model. Once you have a model, you don't have to have that on the chart. You can just work with the probability indicator.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I might just keep it up. Just
sure. It doesn't hurt.
It
won't do anything with it. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So here we just have to load the AI model. So this is the webinar 36.6. That's the one we just loaded, and we just hit apply.
And the neat thing about this, Dre, is now that these two are interlocking, if you use that AI component to this right here, then you can essentially run an automated system with your Predator X, correct? And it'll only
Yes,
take
sir.
those trades that fit the threshold.
Yes, this will take it in real time, and only the ones that do meet that threshold. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's huge. That's a huge point that needs to be reiterated, is that, and then again, Anthony, how often does this AI need to be trained? Once a week?
It really depends. It's all data driven, right? So when you're using a range-based chart or a tick-based chart like this, I like to train more often, especially if the markets are crazy. I will train it every day in the morning before trading.
Okay.
Typically, if you're using a minute-based chart or something that's not as many data points each day, I typically train once a week. I would do it Monday morning before I get started.
Right. Good. Thanks.
Yep.
All right, so here we have the probability. So all we have to do is we got to tell the Predator to only take these signals if they fall within our probability. So if the signal is above 75%, that's one we want to take. And if it's above, let's say, 90%, that's when we want to multiply our quantity. Or you don't have to, but we do have that option. So let's just go through a quick example here. So I'm just going to load this on the chart. And make sure you do have 3.8.15. That's going to have the quantity multiplier, the latest version. So all we have to do is create a custom signal. And we're going to create one entry signal. And this is going to be for the arrows themselves. And the easiest way, I just like to do plot mode. And, Brian makes these quite simple. It's just the +1, -1 value. So that's already going to take those arrows whenever one comes up. Now, we just have to filter with the LogikLabAI. So we create one filter signal, go under plot mode, and for the longs, we just select the long. And here we want to tell it to only take above a 75% threshold. So we go over here. When it's greater or equal to 75, it's going to turn our long filter on. And then when it's below 75, it's going to turn the filter off, and it's not going to let any long trades. And it's just the opposite for the shorts. So let's select the shorts in our filter. And this one, we want to take trades only if they're below -75. So it's the complete opposite. And then we turn it off once it goes back above 75. So now with these settings right here, it's going to take the signals whenever this LogikLabAI tells us we are within that threshold.
Dre, is that last, real quick, sorry to interrupt, is that last 75, is that supposed to be a negative, the one that you just put in?
That is supposed to be a negative.
Rob,
Good call.
good job, Rob.
Very good call. All right, so once we have that, now this is one of the newest features we've just added, and that is the signal multiplier. And we basically added this just for this indicator, because I've had quite a few guys reach out to me. They wanted to see this added. So we can basically define the exact same things. So we're going to select the same long and short, but this time I'm going to say if it's greater or equal to 90, just give it a bit more oomph. We're going to say 90 or -90. If this happens, then it's going to multiply our position by a factor of 2. So right here, I just have a quantity of 1, keep it simple. So I think that's already picking up, but I'm going to disable, re-enable, just make sure everything's reading. It's just going to kind of run through its course. So here, these are a little bit hard to see here, but we're at 90, 99. So our filter is on. So right now, if we were to get a long signal, it would take this signal and it would multiply it our position size. Let me just change. And then over here, we can set our targets, our stop loss. Again, whatever you guys want. I know a lot of you guys are already familiar with the Predator, but you can customize this any way that you like as well. And we can do some back testing with the Predator as well. It's not as reliable as the LogikLab back testing. This one just uses the NinjaTrader one. But if you wanted to see historical trades, you just put that one on. And with Ninsarenko, I do recommend a high fill resolution. And then that's going to take a little while while it loads everything.
It's a pretty comprehensive tool, Dre. But this is the first time I'm really getting a good breakdown of everything. You got a lot of features and functions here.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's been built up over, I think, over 3 years now. It's just user requests over the years. So here, actually, this is a good example. Here we were below the threshold right here. So we were only at 50, about 51 or so. So it did not take this signal. Over here, we were above the 90 threshold. So you can see it actually entered with a position size of 2. So it actually multiplied it. Let's see if we can get a few more over here. Same thing over here. All of these were below the threshold. So it's not taking any of these short trades. This one, yeah, this one's still right below the threshold, so it didn't take it. Then we have this one multiplied it by 2.
You only need one.
Yeah, really, you can see with high fill resolution, I also have I just have 15 days loaded as well. So right here where there's nothing, I might be outside of some hours, but okay, over here. Over here, our threshold was, I believe, yes, our long was right at 75. It's a little bit hard to see. I don't know if you guys can, but right at 75. So it still meets that threshold. It still took that trade, but this one is only a value of 1 because we did not go over that 90%. Same with this one, just 1.
Hey, Anthony, does for the probability indicator there, does it look at does it check the criteria on the entry bar or the bar prior to the entry bar?
So that indicator will plot probability on all bars because it doesn't know when there's a signal, right? So the model, and that in and of itself can be used, right? So if you have a high probability, like here you have this, the long is way up there, and as you go far back, you're probably going to find, so that probability is displayed all the time. So at the close of it's really at the close of the bar.
Reversal bar?
It's the close of, it's the close of any bar. Like you see here on the bottom, it's all displaying there. Any bar on the close of the bar, you're going to get a probability, but it waits till the close of the bar. So if you're entering,
okay, gotcha.
Let's say you get a signal and you're entering intra-bar, it's going to be looking at your, and this is code dependent. Your code will be looking at the prior valid value, which would be at the close of the prior bar.
Got it.
I just want to add one thing. When it comes to backtesting and historical, especially with the Predator, it's always going to look for the bar close. So when we get a signal here, this will always be our entry. And that's also true for the most part, unless you change that, unless you're using like scan current bar. It will always, at least for the predator side, it always waits until the bar closes. So it looks at the signal one bar over, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. That's what I was at. I'm sorry, I should have asked. Probably should have asked you that for the entry module there. So,
and for something like this, this is just how NinjaTrader does their historical testing. It sometimes kind of plots it over here, but the actual entry would have been right on this bar right here, and not where it's showing. So sometimes it's just historical trading. Just Ninja likes to plot it in a weird way.
Yeah, and one of the things with that, you don't see the intrabar movement on these bars. So one of these bars could be a zero volume filler bar. I don't think that that's necessarily the case with these because they're reversal bars and they have a wick. But a lot of these bars that don't have wicks, if you scroll slowly over the x-axis time, you'll see that some of them are all going to show at the same time. And that's because you just had a pop in the market and it satisfied the criteria to make more bars in a row.
Yeah. Yeah. So with the one thing with the Predator is you also don't want to run it live. You don't want to do show historical trades in high fill resolution if you are running live. You just use it for historical backtesting. But if you're actually trying to take trades while the market is running, do turn those off. And yeah, I mean, that basically covers everything from the Predator side when it comes to this. Over here in your trade status, you can also see your thresholds. So once it goes above your current threshold, that's when it's going to multiply. So that will light up green if that's the case. But yeah, does anybody have any questions? Or I guess, Anthony, did you want to go over anything else?
No, I think I honestly think you actually hit exactly what I was going to show. Do you want to make a couple of just notes with LogikLab and everything that I sell? It's a one shot price. You pay for it once, and you find anything wrong or you have any requests or anything, you send them over to me. If you're using something in some unique way and you're hitting a corner case, that's not a problem. All updates and everything are included. If there are things in Predator X that Dre has for exit criteria, and you want them added so you can simulate and train the model based on the way that you're going to be exiting trades, right? So let's say you exit a trade based on a bar changing color. Like, I don't have that in LogikLab right now, but that is definitely important to have in there if you're going to be training models, and that's one of your ways that you exit, which can determine whether a trade is a win or a loss, which is what all this breaks down to, is if a trade a win or a loss, and being able to go ahead and feed the AI module win or loss. So if you're using different types of exits in Predator that I don't have, I will gladly start adding them. And as I'm building on this more and more, everything's included. Some of this, I don't know if some people are in the chat right now that already purchased this a couple months ago when I did this originally with Brian. Since then, I've added this optimization process. I've added historical intrabar execution. I've added just a whole bunch of features. I've made the modeling better. I've made that diversification technique of different features to be used. That was something that I came up with later, and I'm just gonna keep, like, this is what I don't do this because it makes money. Well, that's part of it, but I do this because I'm passionate about it. I started pure logic trading, I don't know, 16 or 18 years ago, as I was working in an engineering firm, because I loved what I was doing. And so I'm heavily fascinated with LogikAI and that's why it even exists. I started this working on it for my own trading, and I kept saying there's something going on. There's got to be a way I can use the computer to tell me what the chances are of this trade being a winner versus a loser, right? And that's what started this for my own usage. And then I said, okay, well, I'm going to keep making this better. And then I started bringing it to people because I feel like everybody can really benefit from this. And thus far, I've had nothing but good responses from everybody that's using it, including Brian, who will vouch for me right now, I hope. So, the optimization process is just released. It's beta. If you're using it and you find anything, let me know. This is what I do. So, I do have one thing. I'm just going to take over for a second just to put it up so at least it could be captured. Dre, if you don't mind, if I just take over.
Yeah. So much. I'm terrible with Zoom. Do I have
That's
to do
fine.
anything?
It's fine.
You probably need to stop sharing, Dre. You want me to try to manually stop sharing you?
Oh, I was looking in the wrong area. I should probably learn this by now, eh?
That's okay. Go ahead, Anthony.
All right. So this is just shameless plug. This is just all the information about it. Last time I did this, I had a coupon code, 15% off. This code is still active. And I don't know if I touched on this because I keep bouncing around a bit, a lot going on. But one of the things I am going to add to this is a piece of software that will take any current strategy that you have, that is, at least you have the code for it, and it will integrate this LogikAI capability. Because as I mentioned before, it's all about having winning trades and losing trades, and feeding winning trades and losing trades into this module where it's trained and learns and provides that probability of win versus loss. And so any trades you make, any strategies you create in the strategy builder and NinjaTrader, there's other tools out there now that create strategies. There's a pretty cool one I stumbled across. I cannot remember the name of it right now. But another client approached me asking if I could somehow integrate, which is what gave way to this idea, integrate this into any other strategy. And as long as you have source code and it's not something you purchase that's locked and it's just a DLL file on your computer, I'm writing something that will convert that strategy to an AI version of it, which is basically takes the strategy and inserts the different components of the code needed for the AI process to take place. And it puts a button on the chart like I showed you where you can go ahead and train the model, save the model, and then when you run the strategy, there's an option to enforce it, and then there's a way to enforce all the rules behind your different thresholds and everything. So that's going to be something that's going to be included for anybody that has it now. It's going to be included when it comes out. And like I said before, it's one-time purchase. I'll continue to send updates as I make them better, everything better. And yeah, that's really all I got.
All right, great. So Anthony, if you could stop sharing, I'll take over.
Yep.
Close up, give my piece, and then Dre, if you have any special offers you'd like to address at the end here, we'll circle back around.
So sorry, Anthony, I think Rusty has a question for you in the chat.
Yeah.
Are you talking about for Rusty? Are you talking about for Dre's execution, or are you talking about when in the historical backtest with LogikLab? So for the execution part, that's something that Dre might be able to put in there if that's something that's requested, I guess, and that's up to him, obviously. But for my component, I can have it print directly on the chart for the training part. If you wanted to print on the chart in real time, it's going to be on every single bar. I can see about adding the ability to capture when a signal takes place to go and put it there. Yeah, so I can add code to detect when an arrow or whatever the signal is put on the chart and put a probability right underneath it. If you're using Predator X, that's something that I think would be in Dre's wheelhouse. So I realize looking down and below and stuff is not necessarily what you want to do. Not while you're trading live. So.
All right, looks like you hit the at least got in the ballpark for Rusty there. So, all right. So, hey, I'll try to round this up right here. Make my portion kind of quick. But for those of you that don't know me, may be new, I'm Brian, founder of A+ Setups. We've been, I started building a scalping program 3+ years ago to augment what other stuff I do in the market. I swing trade, pairs trade, my personal accounts. So we're 3 years in the making. So what we specialize in is NASDAQ futures. And what I've done is I've categorized 3 specific pullbacks in the NASDAQ. And they really apply to everything, but I specialize in the NASDAQ. And we have black and white rules surrounding the shallow pullback, which is the jiggle, which is what has been, the centerpiece of demonstration today. A deep pullback, the reverse mullet, and then the deepest pullback, which is what we call the puncture trade. And we're getting ready to introduce a new flagship trading model, which unifies all 3 of those setups into one inclusive trading model. And what I've done, I've spent months and months and months on using Anthony's product is, I've done the old elbow grease work to identify 3 things that make each of these setups statistical profiles better. And those are all included inside of the new flagship model. So you're looking at it right now. It hasn't been released yet, but here's a triangle showing a puncture trade setup that hit. So here we have a setup status panel to help show you what's setting up and which filters are in alignment. And again, I only allow from a manual perspective 2 to 3 filters, no more than that. I mean, if a filter gets added to our plate, it's got to beat out something else over all of our historical data, all of our different data sets, and then the most recent activities. So we have the best filters aligned with these setups in the current model. And we roll statistical profiles out every Saturday, looking back every month on how the performance goes. So that's kind of what we do. That's our shtick in A+ Setups. We live trade every day. Live trade these setups. We teach 4 times a week in the afternoons on all of our setups. We give 30-minute sessions every day. All those are recorded, and that's pretty much it. I have our programmer Richard, who lives in Australia. He's just a very key component to what we do. He takes, like I said, all of my goofy ideas, concepts, and he translates those into NinjaTrader code for me. So, I build all these started out in another product, and then, he takes these and rolls them in and just creates tons and tons of features inside of the platform. We've got oodles of features inside of these models right here. And like I said, this is going to get rolled out here pretty soon. So anyway, that's, I don't even have time to go through all the features. That's not what this is about. It's about the interlocking compatibility of our products. I use LogikLabs, at least, I'm going to say at least 6 hours a week, where I'm running the actual program that much every week to generate my statistical profiles. And then, of course, we've got, the Predator X community inside of A+ Discords where they, all the guys keep everybody updated on the latest, templates that they're using. So I'm extremely interested going forward, in the last half of the year of integrating this AI component with the Predator X automation feature as a project of mine. So that's definitely coming, Richard. It's going to be. We're going to work on that in the last 3 months of the year. So I'm very, very interested in that. I'm looking forward to seeing, Anthony, all the new stuff that you rolled out. That's going to be great. So I guess everybody can see my chart, right? I just started in with. Can you see it, Anthony and Dre?
Yep, I see it.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Yeah. So this was a trade we took this morning off of a reverse mullet trade. Dot right there. Triangles for and these are all filtered. That's why you don't see all the jiggle setups that you saw on the other charts. These are filtered with our filters up here. So those are all filtered trade setups there. All right. So that is that. Let me give a quick little. Let me find my thing here. All right, we did that. So right now, this is my shameless plug. Right now, our subscriptions are $29.99 a month. Here's a discount. You get 5% off. I had somebody ask me, he's like, hey, why don't you ever give a 50% discount? And I'm like, well, because it's $29.99 and you get everything that we have. And, I keep very little of $29.99. So a 50% haircut will never work. Anyway, that's what we're running right now. You get everything included. I mean, we got a lot of legacy stuff that's been built over the years that still, the concepts are still valid. And you also get the flagship model when we launch that, if you're a current member. But once we launch the flagship, immediately after that, I mean, the prices are going to go up on everything. So we're going to require that you buy all of our indicators, and then the price of the monthly subscription will go up a little bit too. But we're also going to offer a free trial. So that's all coming up. And, you interested in getting in touch with us, here's the screenshot for all that right there. So, all right, that concludes. Dre, do you have any specials you'd like to bring to the group here?
So we always run a 15% discount.
Okay.
Same thing. It's everything's lifetime. Everything's included. I know a lot of the guys who've been around for a while. They know we update quite often. We always take basically the user requests, what everybody wants to see. Always upgrading, always improving. Everything's included for free lifetime. And yeah, just 15% discount is usually what we do. And I believe you have your your coupon as well. So we should probably use that one. A plus for anybody that wants that discount.
All right, great.
And it's over at tradesaver.com. Should probably mention the website.
Yeah. So if anybody has, if you didn't get where to get the links or anything, just ask in the chat here. I do have a couple of questions that popped up, and then I'll circle back around, Dre, to you and Anthony both. Hey, Ken Gordon, yes, I run back tests on all three of our setups at one time. It's easily done in LogikLabs. So you can either set inside of our trading model here, you can set the objects to ever how you like. So if you want the jiggles to show up with arrows, reverse mullets with dots, the puncture trades with triangles, you can do that. And then if you're going to run a portfolio, what I do is I set them all to an arrow. And that way LogikLab picks up all three setups in one portfolio look. And then you can go through there and you can toggle which filters you want to apply to the setup. And that's the really neat thing about this, is that this puncture trade is the basic puncture trade by itself with no filters. Is the signal is +1 go, -1 sell. If you add the two filters or one or two of the filters, you check those boxes, then the setup is still +1 -1, but it includes that filter. It will only backtest that triangle if you have the filters checked. So hopefully that answers your question. And then Rusty, I won't be adding John Wick and 108 to the flagship. We're going to keep it to the 3 primary pullbacks, and that's where we're going to leave that right there. So hopefully that, let me see if there's any other things. All right, good deal. All right, Anthony, in closing, what do you have?
I think I kind of spoke a lot in closing before. Like I said, and to just add on to what Dre said, I dropped a link in the chat with the product page. The A+15 is a coupon code, 15% off, and I will be adding what I showed before on the PowerPoint is the ability to convert strategies that you have code for to add in this AI capability as well. When I do add that, the price will be increasing as well. But anything that I have when you already purchase it, anything new that gets added is already included. It's included for all feature enhancements and updates are included in the one purchase price. And obviously anything that gets fixed and all the other things, and things that Dre kind of tells me or people are using from Dre software that we want to add, all that stuff, no problem. You just gotta feed me the data and I'll take care of it.
Perfect.
That's it.
Dre, anything else from your side?
Nope, that just about covers everything. One thing I forgot to mention, we do have a free trial as well of the Predator. So if you wanted to try it out, there's no credit card signups or anything. Just create a free account, start the trial, and see if it works for you. And yeah, there's no commitment whatsoever.
All right, sounds good. Hey, folks, thanks for jumping in today. I always like getting together with Anthony and Dre and seeing what they have. Just 2 stand-up guys with great products. These are products that you can definitely stand behind, and you don't feel bad about recommending them. You actually feel like you're doing somebody a favor, if you do. So once again, thanks a lot. If you have any questions for any of us, I think you should know how to get in touch with us. Feel free to reach out, and we'll go from there. Hey, until the next time, Dre, Anthony, thanks again for doing this, and we'll catch everybody in the markets.
Thanks, Brian, for having us.
Yeah.